folks, how are you all? Welcome to another week. Yes, we did have a week off, basically because we were so busy we just didn't have time to put this all together. We've had many events over the last couple of weeks, which we're about to share with you. None the least of the footage that opened this week's produce report was shot by our dear Andrew on a recent trip to the Tops Organic Retreat. Some beautiful footage there. And that was underlaid with some music from Momo Whole Foods dinner held about 2 weeks ago, featuring the music of Tenzin Churgal. A beautiful combination, such beautiful natural scenes and lovely music. Before we get into some of the past events, I'd like to let you know about a future event which corresponds with a past event. We had David Lohman here and Philip Rankin, 13th of November. It was a great crowd. We had 30 odd people here to do some RBTI analysis. Now David, I've heard so much about in the past. It's the first time I've actually met him in person. He comes across to me as a wonderful healer, and I certainly learned some things on the evening. Now tomorrow night, the 27th, at the New Lambton Community Centre, they are hosting another night where you can go along and you can get an analysis done. I think it's $90 actually. I think it's $60. It normally costs $90. If you're interested, contact Philip on 0448 883 838. You can get some further details about the night there. Look, some great advice coming your way right now with the apples. The Granny Smiths, we've managed to secure some very good late season grannies from WA. The quality is there, the price is not too bad. Also from there, Pink Ladies from these guys are eating fantastically. What you may find on some of them is this warm air blemish on the skin, which is essentially caused by the warmer air. That's all it is. It's a superficial marking on the top. The Pink Ladies are eating very good for this time of year. So it's with some comfort I can recommend Pink Ladies and the Granny Smiths. Stone fruit's really starting to kick in. I can tell you that for me, presently, the highlights have been the white nectarines and the white peaches. Though the sizing is small, they've got a lovely sweetness and are really eating very nicely. So there's yellow nectarines, yellow peaches, and the apricots are really starting to come into their own as well. We have premiums and second grades. Now we also had our movie night the week before last, featuring One Man, One Cow, One Planet. That was well attended. A fabulous story about empowering communities, food security, soil fertility, health, well-being, all of those issues were covered, and it was a great introduction to what followed, which was the People's Food Plan discussion, hosted by Riley and Jack, two fantastic guys that full of passion, and great that there are people out there like that dedicating their spare time to try and do something that's going to benefit us all. Now, for those of you who may not recall, the People's Food Plan is an initiative of the Australian Sovereign Food Alliance, and it's in direct response to the National Food Plan initiated by the federal government, in which they're only consulting large agribusiness and large food retailers, the transport industry and the like, those with a significant vested interest in the current model of food in Australia. This doesn't necessarily reflect what we, the people, should have in terms of a food system. So the People's Food Plan is a direct response to that. Topics covered on the evening were food and health, the food economy, i.e. what type of food economy do we want, what type of farming practices do we want, and what kinds of planning and protections do we want put in place to ensure food security. Some very important points that were made on the evening: that organics are necessary health-wise and ecologically, that there needs to be more education about the benefits of healthy food and the disadvantages of processed and unhealthy food, keeping it local, carbon impact, freshness and local jobs, essentially the decentralisation and the regionalisation of food production and distribution in Australia, sustainable farming practices, increasing soil fertility, encouraging people to grow their own produce at home, saving seeds for biodiversity, and more food self-reliance at an individual level. We have a great supply of Fuerte avocados from our good mate John up at Comboyne. So they're nice and local, beautiful and creamy. 2 suppliers of bananas. We have some Queensland fruit. Now the main thing to look for, the Queensland fruit, when it ripens up, we'll get these are just still a little bit green, but we'll get a nice, bright, yellow flush, if you like, blush, if a bit of a word, when they're nice and ripe. The New South Wales fruit, when they're ready, still have that kind of greeny, more subdued yellow, and therefore they generally don't tend to sell as well. Let me assure you that the New South Wales fruit is the sweetest. They don't get that nice bright yellow that the Queensland fruit does, but they're a better tasting banana. Blueberries are brilliant. Strawberries are fantastic. Now also starting this week are our beautiful local blueberries. As you can see from these pictures, the heavy pruning of 2 years ago, a moderately small crop last year, has burgeoned into a huge crop this year. So it's going to be a great season. And we have 2 grades of cherries. We have the smaller fruit, and we also have some premium grade, which are bigger than this. They're both eating very well. Rock melons in reasonable supply, and the price is actually not too bad, and the quality is very good. Watermelon, in my experience, has been beautiful and sweet. Now something else that's very much worth sharing with you, I did post it on, or share it on our Facebook page last week, I think. The title is David versus Monsanto. That is now our featured video on the front page of the website, and it essentially follows Percy Schmeiser, a Canadian canola farmer who you may have heard of in the past, and his battles with Monsanto. It's now been documentised in video form, and essentially it's a story which is so unbelievable it just couldn't possibly be true. It happened, it's real, and I think it's a great insight into companies like Monsanto. People talk about I guess conspiracy theories and think, oh, surely they wouldn't do that in they'd have the people's interests at heart. This is a really very insightful look into the fact that they really have their own interests at heart and not those of people like Percy. So I would encourage you to watch it and share it amongst your friends, because it's real, it's out there, it's happening, and the more people that know about it, the better. Lebanese cucumbers have come down to a very reasonable price now, around the 8s a kilo. Cherry tomatoes, $3.95 this week, very good buying. Beautiful local garlic, Italian variety, coming from just up near Gresford. These bulbs are pricing out around about $1.50, so they're really good value, and nice and fresh out of the ground. They have been dried, so will cure well. Beautiful, they're smaller heads, but they're nice, nice bright white collies from Tasmania, and the flavour's good. Now, just in time for Christmas, we have our new organic cotton, earth positive, climate neutral t-shirts. Not to mention, but not for sale, the beautiful organic hemp cotton aprons we now are wearing. Available in these exciting colours: navy blue, khaki, lime green and purple. $29.95, limited edition. This shirt, that is. Andrew's cheaper than that. No. Presentation of broccoli's lacking a little bit this week. I think we're just in that little bit of a period where the hot weather, a little bit in between times. They're eating nicely, of course, but they just don't look as pretty and as clean as they have been in the past. Nice mushrooms, both button and the Swiss browns. The top choice in choice is the choisum. Beetroot bulbs, generally on the larger size, but they're still nice and sweet and juicy. And the button squash, beautiful little pieces, nice and clean and fresh. Now we had Super Saturday on Saturday, well-attended day. Let me tell you that the Neo-Flan pans walked out. I think one lady bought 7, and they weren't all pink. She had a nice array of colours. We're going to be running similar specials on those leading into Christmas. But here's a little bit of footage of the day. I'll sign out with that, and there's some beautiful music played on the day as well. Love to you all. Catch you later.
Not one.